All right, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining today's webinar. It's been a couple of weeks since I've hosted the webinar, so it's great to be back. Today, joining me is Pauline, Martina, and Georgia. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands we meet on today. For me, that is the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and I pay my respects to elders past and present. Now to the latest government announcements. Today, Premier Daniel Andrews announced that there were 11 new COVID cases yesterday, which makes Metro Melbourne's fortnightly average 9.7 and regional Victoria 0.4. As you no doubt know, we need to get down to 5 new COVID cases before Victoria progressively moves out of lockdown. And we're getting closer to that number. The slide on the screen shows just how far we've come since COVID cases peaked in Victoria back in August, when the rolling 14-day average was at 430. So what we're doing is working, and I encourage you to continue abiding by the restrictions and setting the right example in your community. The only way we'll be able to move to the next step is if we all keep on doing the right thing. There's been some great news for school students and parents, with primary schools, Year 7, VCE, VCAL and specialist school students returning to on-site learning from this Monday in Metro Melbourne. Students in Year 8 to 10 will return on the 26th of October. And while this is still a few weeks more to wait, it's a relief to have a date for those students to look forward to. In regional Victoria, primary school students returned to on-site learning this week, with secondary school students returning to school next week. A big shout out to all students, teachers and parents who have been navigating home learning together. I've experienced this with my family personally, and I know it hasn't been easy. My daughter in Year 7 squealed with joy to be returning to school. Now to a recreation restart update. Since the last webinar, we've reopened 6 more of our recreational centres. We're offering outdoor lap swimming and outdoor group fitness. Peter Krenz, Hawthorn, Burundara Sports Complex and Carlton Baths are offering outdoor swimming and outdoor group fitness. Warragul, Ashburton, Noble Park and Northcote are offering outdoor swimming. And Bass Coast and Phillip Island are offering outdoor group fitness. You can find all the latest information regarding reopening dates on the emergency website under the Reopening Dates tab. We've also just confirmed today that Horsham will be opening on Monday next week for lap swimming and outdoor group fitness, which is really exciting. Since reopening, we've seen a very high customer demand for both swimming and outdoor fitness sessions across all sites, and they're being consistently booked out. While having high demand for our services is really a great thing, it has meant that our customers are unfortunately missing out because of the limited spaces that are available. Just to give you an idea of how high this customer demand is, our Burundara website visits were averaging around 100 visits per day combined across Ashburton, Hawthorn and Burundara while we were in lockdown. Since reopening, this number has jumped to 3,700 visits per day. Over the last week, this has added up to a total of almost 40,000 page views for our lap swimming booking page alone. To accommodate our Burundara customers, we have increased our operating hours across all sites. However, even with this increase, we're only able to offer 880 bookings per week due to the current restrictions of 20 people per pool. Due to this limited capacity, our customer care team have received over 11,000 calls last week, the majority of our callers benefiting from our self-serve option. However, 1,600 of our customers were assisted by incredible team members. Since the beginning of COVID and centre closures, we have redirected centres and office calls to the Children's Programs admin team and the YMS team. I'd like to give a really big shout out to these team members and acknowledge that it hasn't been easy for them. Since we're booking out so quickly, those customers who missed out on bookings are of course frustrated. And while everybody should be respectful, this hasn't been the case in every time. People are certainly passionate to return for a swim, but it's the staff answering calls who are taking the brunt of that passion, both good and bad. So thank you so much for all of your outstanding work. It's really appreciated and noticed. To support both our customers and our team members, we have been updating our socials and websites so the latest information is available before people call. And this has had the effect of reducing call volumes. If you have friends or family asking you questions about their local Y reopening dates, please encourage them to check their centre website or Facebook page for the latest information. At this point in time, our other centres will remain closed. We will continue to work with our local council partners in relation to reopening and will update the emergency site weekly with the latest reopening dates. Now I'm going to move on to children's programs, where there's been some wonderful news. In the webinar 2 weeks ago, Amanda Locke shared the announcement that the recovery package for early learning and OSH programs will be extended until the end of the year. This means that permanent staff will continue to be paid for their contracted hours. This is great news for our children's program staff in lieu of the fact that JobKeeper is not available in this sector. On top of this, we've seen our occupancies slowly building since the permit system was removed on Monday, the 28th of September. Occupancy levels are currently sitting at an average of 48%, up from 28% in early learning centres, and 60% for our 2 regional and 1 interstate site. It's a really promising start, and as more and more of our workforce continue to return to work, we're going to see this number continue to rise. As I mentioned, primary schools have returned this week in regional Victoria and next week in Metro Melbourne. So our OSH teams are eager and ready to provide care for children before and after school. Finally, in more good news for children's programs, the Victorian Government offers various grants to build and improve kindergarten programs. One of this year's grants was the Information Technology Grant for up to $1,500 to support the purchase of IT equipment. Given our recent investment in Story Park, the area managers decided to apply for 2 new tablets for each service to allow us to further engage families in the planning and reflection of each child's individual learning. These tablets are also used to support learning languages and STEM activities and to facilitate research with the children. We're really pleased to be successful in securing grants of $1,500 for all 17 Y Victoria sites, ELC sites. Now for a camps update. Our camps are now open to regional Victoria customers, and their phones have been the busiest that they've been since March, which is wonderful. Many of the calls have also been from Metro Melbourne schools who are really keen to book in school programs. While we can't book in Metro schools until we've had a confirmed date, it's great to see that schools are really keen to come on camp as soon as they're able to. In another piece of good news, it has just been announced publicly that we have won the SRV contract. So that's wonderful news. Well done to the whole camping team on that amazing news of another 20 years in the beautiful camps of SRV. So thank you to all our camping teams for your hard work. It looks like we're really shaping up for a really strong start to term 1 next year. And there were some very successful school holiday day programs run at Anglesea and Howman's Gap, which is wonderful. I'm now going to hand over to Pauline for a RITEC update.
Hi everybody, thanks Carolyn. In the last few weeks, we've run 9 RITEC training sessions. And I really want to thank the 950 people who attended, nearly 1,000 staff at our first round of training sessions, which has been great. As you can see, you all gave us a net 8.6 out of 10 for the effectiveness of the training. But more importantly, you gave us really valuable feedback on where we can improve. As a result of your feedback, I want you all to know we are listening and we are going to make changes to make your life easier. For example, that we will be making changes to the training itself by making it more interactive and allowing time for questions and feedback. We will be updating the process on how we manage your clocking on and off and how managers action and review RITEC. And we will be looking at making the equipment, including our scanners, better. We have also introduced a RITEC sandbox so that people can practice and learn how to use RITEC better. We are now planning to run more sessions as we want all of our 6,000 people in our workforce trained in using time and attendance properly. These sessions will start late next week. For those of you that haven't attended training yet, please keep an eye out for these next sessions. And if you have any queries, any feedback, any ideas, please send them through to the RITEC Help Desk at rta@ymca.org.au. They really will make a difference. This next slide shows the value of the training and communication that we have had in recent weeks and how our improvement in using RITEC properly. We have set ourselves some targets, as you can see. By the 30th of September, we wanted to be at 80% clocking, and by the 14th of October, we wanted to be at 75% for scheduling. We are now getting much closer to hitting these targets. Specifically, before we began our focused effort on RITEC, our clocking rates were at 70% on the 2nd of August, and our scheduling and rostering compliance was at 58%. Now, after the most recent pay run last week on the 27th of September, our scheduling is up to 74%, which is just below our target of 75%. And our clocking has increased to 77%. This is really good news, especially for scheduling and rostering by managers. And I want to thank all of our teams and managers for their focus in these areas. You can see that we didn't make as much improvement in our clocking area as scheduling. So we still need you to please focus on this. We will continue to listen and act on the feedback from the training. And as an example, we have heard that some of our finger scanning equipment is not reliable and easy to use. So this impacts your ability to clock on and off properly. So we are going to be looking to introduce changes in this area, including our mobile clocking app, which you all have access to, which also helps assist our COVID-safe policies and practices. It's really pleasing to see large increases in how we're using our system correctly. It will help ensure we reduce the risk of errors and the manual processes we have in payroll. So please keep remembering how important it is to use RITEC properly. And please keep giving us feedback. Before I hand over to Martina, one final point to remember. If you are working, even at home, you must be clocking on and off. Thank you, everyone. I'll now hand to Martina.
Thanks, Pauline, and hi, everybody. I'd like to let you know about the upcoming public holidays and business shutdowns for the remainder of this year. As we do every year, we have designated the following shutdown periods so people can take annual leave. The dates are for the Melbourne Metropolitan Region. Melbourne Cup Day is on Tuesday the 3rd of November. Therefore, the office will be shut down on Monday the 2nd of November. In relation to the end of year shutdown, we will be closed from Wednesday the 23rd of December to Monday the 4th of January. And obviously this includes the 25th and 26th of December and the 1st of January, which are public holidays. During these closures, our shared services will be operating on skeleton staff, but we will be ensuring that our centres and sites that remain open are well supported. This will include adequate IT support. Your manager will discuss with you if you need to work during the period of closures, and we will provide communication closer to the holiday period. These dates will be shared with you on YNet, so look up the dates for any clarification you may need. If you have any questions, please contact the P&C team via the HR inbox. The good news is, as you may already know, Victoria's Grand Final Leave public holiday this year has been renamed Thank You Day to show gratitude for the Victorians for the sacrifices we have made to help contain the spread of the virus, and also for giving up the grand final. The public holiday is on Friday, the 23rd of October, which is just 2 weeks away. So if you have any questions about the upcoming public holidays or shutdown periods, you can check on YNet, or if you like, you can type in now a question on Q&A and I'll try and answer them the best I can. I'll now hand over to Her Excellency, Georgia Mackenzie, the Youth Governor of Victoria.
Thanks, Martina. Hi, everyone. I'm Georgia. I'm part of the WISE communications team, but I'm also a volunteer on the Youth Parliament program. and last week I was appointed as the 2021 Youth Governor of Victoria. I've been a part of the volunteer task force who run Youth Parliament for the past 2 years, and before that I was part of the 2018 Youth Press Gallery. Every year, Youth Parliament provides the opportunity for young people to have their voices heard at the highest level of Victorian government. Participants are able to choose a topic they're passionate about and develop a bill to be debated in the Houses of Parliament. Bills that pass Youth Parliament are then presented to the Minister for Youth for government consideration. And over the years, more than 25 bills have gone on to become Victorian legislation. Things like roadside drug testing for drivers, over-the-counter availability of the morning after pill, and mandatory wearing of bike helmets. Even the current government's upcoming 10-cent recycling scheme stems from a bill that passed Youth Parliament last year. But I will say this year's program was a little different. When we started planning, we were working towards a residential program that was due to take place in the first week of July. I think we only managed 2 task force meetings before we were forced to move on to Zoom. And from there, the year took us down a very long and very winding path. We started out rather naively, hopeful that though we may not be able to hold an in-person trainings weekend in May, we would still be able to hold debates in Parliament House in July. July quickly turned into September, and before long it was clear that 2020 was going to be a completely online program, which had never been done before. We didn't know how we were going to do it, but as a team we decided no matter what, we were going to deliver the best program possible. I won't lie, it was an exceptionally difficult year. Like everyone else this year, every member of the task force was facing different challenges. Some of us were stood down, some had lost their jobs, while others were facing unstable housing situations. But as a whole, we were determined to persevere and ensure that our participants had as many opportunities as possible to have their voices heard. We were able to adapt and innovate really quickly. We developed online modules and facilitated a 5-week online training period that included sessions from Parliament House and the Victoria Electoral Commission. While debates weren't possible, the bills developed by each of the teams were some of the highest quality bills we've ever seen. And if you want to have a look at them, they're all available to read on the Youth Voice section of Virtual Y. Part of my role in Task Force is to coordinate opportunities for participants to meet with stakeholders and MPs to advocate for their bill. And this year, participants have met with various government departments, MPs, ministers, and industry leaders, some of whom you'll be able to see on the screen. The part of the program that we were most concerned about making possible in an online world was the community that we build while we're on camp and in Parliament House. But like everything else, we made it work. We took it online through group chats and Zoom meetings, and the outcome was even better than we could have imagined. Though it was a really, really challenging experience, and I'm sure one the task force would not like to relive, it was definitely worth it. Despite everything, we were able to create a space for young people to advocate for the issues that they care about most and have their voices heard, and that's what the program's all about. We officially closed Youth Parliament last week with a virtual closing ceremony, and it was there that I was appointed as the Youth Governor of Victoria for 2021. The Youth Governor position does not come with a position description. It's purposefully left open so that each year the new Youth Governor can choose their own path. The role acts as a representative of the Youth Parliament participant and task force cohort. And to me, that means that it's not really about me or my voice. It's about ensuring I do everything I can to represent that cohort and find opportunities to elevate their voices. So, over the next 12 months, I'll be working through ongoing consultation with the young people I'm representing to ensure their ideas and opinions are guiding my work. I'll be looking to build partnerships and relationships with other organisations currently working in those areas of interest, with the goal of providing opportunities for young people to advocate for their bills, which is already a really important part of the program, but also to share their voices and opinions on the other issues that they care about. My goal for next year is to create as many opportunities as I can for young people to have their voices heard, while also ensuring that those voices are amplified through the media and social media, so they're heard far beyond the walls of Parliament House. Youth Parliament is an incredible program and it has an incredible impact. Anyone who's been a part of it can attest to that. And I hope that in this role, I'll be able to shine a brighter light on the work that we do through this program and as a leader in youth participation and civic engagement. Thank you. And I'll now hand back over to Carolyn for the Q&A.
Oh, Georgia, well done and congratulations. Yay.
Thank you.
So we've got a couple of anonymous people who said, yay, Georgia. And another one, long live Georgia, all hail Georgia. Wow, another all hail Georgia, my goodness. So go Georgia, fantastic. So hooray, Georgia. Georgie, bring your, what, dog Freddie on the screen, what? All right, you've got a bit of a fan club here. Well done, Georgia, and congratulations. It's fantastic. All hail Her Excellency. So yeah, really well done, Georgia. I think we've got the idea. This is a great honour, and you were put on the spot because you didn't know that you had won the nomination, and you did an absolutely terrific job. So well done on all of that. So
thank you.
And I'm just trying to now navigate this. So just 1 second. Oh, we've got, oh, I'm a very proud mum. There's a message. I forgot to give an acceptance speech.
Thanks, Mum.
Fantastic. Good. So now we've got some other questions. Hi, Carolyn. Do you know if we're able to book and pay for lap swimming at centres that are only open for members? I've asked at my local centre, but I haven't heard back. Well, Emma, I'm really glad that you asked this early. So I have phoned a friend because I didn't know the answer to this one. But Fiona Preston has assured me that we actually don't have members priority except for in our moorland areas. And even then they only get priority. So you should be able to book and pay for lap swimming. So, okay, next one. What does the YMCA think of the federal government budget announcement yesterday? Oh gosh, well, there was a lot of things in there. One thing that I think was really fantastic, which they have announced before because they do leak these things, is the job training. The YMCA have put in a submission to be one of the providers for that job training area, and that would be nationwide. And so we're really hopeful and excited that we will get some pretty substantial funding with regard to that. So that is one area that we have thought deeply around it. Will YMCA be advocating for some state government funding in the upcoming state budget? Absolutely, we will be. So we have already put in applications for some business impact support that is entirely geared towards organisations such as ours. I did speak to SRV today. We won't know about that probably until the state government budget, because they obviously have to allocate it out. But we're really hopeful that we will get some money out of that and it will help us in our recovery. Okay, hi Carolyn. I was under the impression that VEA was supposed to have a meeting with DHHS a couple of weeks ago. However, it seems like that never happened. Do you know if we'll be getting another chance? Okay, so again, I'm on a coronavirus industry group, and Amanda is on the VEA group, so she's the chair on that VEA group, and the VEA group is all about advocacy, particularly around Learn to Swim. And the group that I'm on, which has Kathy Parton, who is the CEO of ARV. She did go to an industry group just yesterday, I believe it was, and had the opportunity to talk to the Department of Human Services. So look, some of the key things that did come out of that is they do understand that we're really well prepared in terms of being up and running. However, I think the key message back from DHHS is that they do not want to see a third wave. And so if they see from the statistics, for example, and don't quote me on this, but if they see from the statistics that we perhaps should open on the 19th of October, they might just wait another week to be absolutely sure. So they're going to be quite conservative around it. However, what I can say is that we have a voice right into the government, and our voice comes through the SRV as well as ARV, which is our peak body. So, okay, last question, I think. Are we allowed to take, this one for Martina, are we allowed to take leave without pay on Monday, the 2nd of November?
Okay. And if I could add before that, one of the other good things that's come out of the federal budget is Job Maker. And that is particularly targeted at our young people. So the P&C team are actively working and will be working with all of the execs on how we can find and make jobs for our young people in the next 12 months. So that's really exciting. In regards to taking unpaid leave on the Monday of the office close down, if you don't have any leave, well then of course that would be an unpaid leave day. However, if you do have annual leave, as is our standard practice, we would be expecting that staff would be taking annual leave on that close down day on the Monday.
Thanks, Martina. And look, came in 2 questions on King's Swim opening. So sorry, I didn't give an update on King's Swim. Unfortunately, that's because we don't have an update on when we can return. What we have done with VEA and with the ARV is we have asked for a density rule that is 1 person per 4 square metres. And it does appear that the government are hopefully going to allow either that or 1 per 8 square metres, which does mean that density means that as soon as we are able to open, we will open King's Swim because we can be commercial. We are still hoping that that will be October the 19th. In terms of the staged opening, but it will probably be about a month after that, I would suggest, until we can actually open up King's Swim. So we're probably looking towards the end of November at this stage. I really do hope I can provide some more news on that in the not too distant future. Very last question, Carolyn, did you mention that managers are getting a 2% pay increase? If so, when? Yes, definitely you're getting a pay increase for managers at, sorry, what was the rate, Martina? Was it
1.75, exactly the same as our staff.
Yeah, that's the rate that everybody's getting, so 1.75%. And when that will be on the 1st of February. All right, thank you very much for all your questions. Just to end, staff and nominations for staff and volunteer awards closed last night at 7 p.m. We were so pleased to see so many nominations submitted. It's a real testament to the incredible work that's been done in what's been a really challenging year. Nominations are now going to go through to shortlisting, and the winners will be announced at the Thank You Staff and Volunteers 2020 virtual celebration in November. This year we aligned our awards with Y Australia National Awards. So that means that all the winners of our awards and from all those categories will be nominated for the National Award as well. While nominations are now closed, the project team is really hard at work pulling together the virtual celebration, which will take place, it'll take the place of our usual staff and volunteer end of year awards night. So the Thank You Staff and Volunteers 2020 will be an opportunity for us to say thank you for the support, sacrifices and contributions you've made for the Y and King's Swim this year. And as it's a celebration for you, our staff and volunteers, we would like to hear when and what you would like the celebration to be. So we've created a poll so you can let us know your preferred time and date. The link to the poll will be included in the follow-up email. So that's it for today. Thanks everybody for your time, and thank you and congratulations, Georgia. And lovely to know, hi to your mum too, she's on. Pauline, thank you Pauline and Martina for joining me. See you next time, cheers.